accountability and improving learning outcomes. She stated this during a courtesy visit to the Delta State government in Asaba. She said effective education depends on ensuring that teachers are present and actively engaged in classrooms. She urged Delta to position itself to benefit from the education component of the World Bank-supported Hope Education Program with up to $500 million earmarked for education. Responding, Delta State Deputy Governor Ms. Sasande Onyeme assured UBEC that the state would continue to improve its education system and make quality education accessible to more citizens. He clarified that updated records showed Delta had about 1 billion naira in unutilized funds rather than 8 billion naira earlier referenced, adding that the state had implemented about 90% of its 2025 action plan and had already received its 2026 matching grant. The Asagba of Asaba, Professor Epiphany Azinge, described basic education as the foundation for Nigeria's future, stressing that the quality of teachers determines the quality of people produced by this education system. You are watching ASO Television News. Don't forget that you can watch us live on DSTV channel 392, StarTimes TV channel 127, and on Free TV, look us up on channel 507. On the UHF band, you can find us on channel 38. Now, still to come. Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority appeals for end to aviation industrial action. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Glad to know you're still there. Now let's move ahead with the rest of the bulletin. The Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, municipal branch has condemned what it described as alleged land grabbing and encroachment on its properties at Lugbe East and Lugbe 1 extension layouts in the Federal Capital Territory. A statement issued on Monday in Abuja, the branch chairman, Dr. Umar Mohammed Makusidi, while describing the act as a deliberate attempt called on the FCT Minister Barrister Nyesom Wike and the Federal Capital Territory Administration to intervene and protect the properties from further encroachment. Oluwak Belumi Adeyemi has the details.
At Lugbe East and Lugbe 1 extension layouts, members of the Nigerian Union of Teachers municipal branch disclosed that the union is facing what is described as attempts by suspected land grabbers to take over properties allocated to the union. Nigerian Union of Teachers municipal branch chairman Dr. Umar Mohammed Mekusidi, represented by the secretary of the union, Comrade Percy Ndam, stressed that the affected lands were acquired for the benefit of its members, but alleged encroachment is threatening their ownership and intended development.
Sadly, for months now, land grabbers, a Chinese quarry company called Tingong Nigerian Limited, and other unauthorized developers have moved in, demolishing teachers' buildings, fencing of some parts of the land without any legal backing or recourse to the union. The branch lamented that several petitions and letters written to the Honorable Minister of FCT, relevant FCTA government and department, and other stakeholders have not been responded to, which has emboldened the land grabbers.
Speaking, Deputy Speaker of the branch, Comrade Charles Nkwere, further emphasized that resolving the dispute through appropriate government authorities would help restore confidence and prevent confrontation among the parties involved.
Nigeria and the way they take teachers like a rat were not anything in the society. People now come in to collect this land or land grabbers that have money more than us, and we have been fighting them. So today, we want to cry out to the public, to let public know, and the government of FCT know, we are not ordinary members in the society. We are workers. So we want the public to know that today, we want to cry out. Let them come to our aid.
The union therefore appealed to the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and the Federal Capital Territory Administration to take decisive steps, investigate the allegations, and ensure that the rule of law prevails. Pelumi Adeyemi, ASO Television News.
The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, is appealing to aviation unions to suspend their ongoing industrial action and return to dialogue. In a statement, the NCAA Director General, Captain Chris Najomo, urged the unions to exercise restraint pending the return of the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, who is working to resolve the dispute. The NCAA says a meeting convened by the minister last week could not hold because airline operators failed to attend. The authority has assured passengers that flight safety remains uncompromised and that it continues to carry out its statutory safety oversight responsibilities. The NCAA expressed confidence that the issues will be resolved soon and normal flight operations restored, while also apologizing to passengers for the inconvenience and appealed for their patience and understanding. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, has introduced new standards for the education, training, assessment, and certification of Nigerian seafarers. The reforms contained in the Merchant Shipping Regulations 2025 are designed to align Nigeria's maritime training system with international standards under the STCW Convention. Key changes include updated national diploma and higher national diploma curricula in nautical science and marine engineering technology developed in collaboration with the National Board for Technical Education. NIMASA also says officers seeking certificates of competency must complete approved academic programs and required sea service, while holders of ND and HND certificates issued on or before July 3rd, 2026 will be required to undergo mandatory bridging courses ahead of the December 2028 transition deadline. The agency also introduced a mandatory 15-week training program for ratings and strengthened the use of approved training record books for cadets and ratings. NIMASA Director General Dr. Dayo Moberola says the reform will improve the quality and competence of Nigerian seafarers and enhance their competitiveness in the global maritime labor market. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRS, in partnership with India's Rashtriya Raksha University, has commenced a 5-day international workshop to strengthen stress management among law enforcement officers in Nigeria. The training, which commenced on Monday at the FRSC national headquarters in Abuja, had participants drawn from other sister agencies, including the Nigerian Police Force, in attendance. Daniel Obi has details.
In his keynote address, FRSC Corps Marshal Shehub Mohammed said the increasing demands of law enforcement have made mental and emotional well-being a critical part of operational readiness. He noted that officers are routinely exposed to road crashes, emergencies, disasters, and other traumatic incidents that place enormous psychological pressure on personnel.
Stress, when not properly managed, affects judgment, decision-making, interpersonal relationship, productivity, and overall operational effectiveness. Consequently, strengthening the psychological resilience of law enforcement officers has become a strategic imperative rather than an operational consideration.
The Corps Marshal further disclosed that the collaboration with the Rashtriya Raksha University is part of plans to adopt a memorandum of understanding between both institutions.
Ladies and gentlemen, this collaboration reflects our determination to align our human capacity development initiatives with global best practices by equipping law enforcement personnel with practical skills in stress management, emotional regulation, psychological resilience, safe management, and peer support.
Also speaking, the defense advisor and representative of the High Commissioner of India to Nigeria, Colonel Major Singh, described the workshop as a product of growing collaboration between Nigeria and India. He said the program is designed to enhance the safety, resilience, and effectiveness of officers operating in highly demanding environments by equipping them with skills to manage occupational stress.
The theme of today's workshop is very, very relevant for all the uniformed as well as people in civil streets, and it makes it more important for all of us to actually apply our minds, share our best practices, as the Court Marshal said.
According to the Federal Safety Corps, the partnership is expected to expose Nigerian officers to global best practices in stress management, emotional regulation, and self-management to enhance professionalism and improve emergency response. Daniel Obi, ASO Television News.
The Traffic Update Family TUF is calling for urgent action to address persistent traffic congestion at the Karo interchange in Abuja. The TUF's call was contained in a statement issued by its president, Mr. Hakim Sumonu, says roadside trading has reduced parts of the two-lane carriageway to a single lane, causing daily gridlock and delays for commuters. TUF is urging the FRSC, police, and other relevant FCT authorities to enforce existing regulations, clear illegal obstructions, and where necessary, relocate traders to designated markets. The group has also appealed to motorists to stop patronizing roadside traders or parking indiscriminately along the corridor, saying such practices further worsen congestion and pose safety risk. The TUF family says sustained enforcement is needed to ensure safer and more efficient traffic flow along the Karo corridor. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Shola Enikaniolaye, has approved the appointment of a new media team to strengthen communication of the ministry's mandate and the federal government's renewed hope agenda. In a statement by the ministry's spokesperson, Kimebi Bienfa, said that Richard Elosho is appointed as Special Assistant on Media and Strategic Communications, while Raphael Oni will serve as Special Assistant on Digital and Public Diplomacy. The ministry says the appointments are expected to enhance effective communication and strengthen its engagement with the media and the public. It added that both appointees will bring extensive experience in journalism, government communication, the public diplomacy, and media management. The European Union delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS has dismissed reports that it declined an invitation from INEC to observe Nigeria's 2027 general elections. The EU says it will instead deploy an electoral expert mission of 2 to 4 independent experts who will be accredited as observers and assess the electoral process against international, regional, and national standards. The delegation also described reports citing insecurity and alleged hostile treatment of EU observers as reasons for the decision as inaccurate and speculative, stressing that the EU's support for democratic governance and the electoral process in Nigeria remains unchanged. And with that story, we've come to the end of the bulletin for this hour. But before we go, a recap of one of our major stories again. We told you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has congratulated Senator Adeola Solomon Olamilekan on his birthday today, commending his years of dedicated service to the people of Ogun and Lagos states, as well as to Nigeria as a whole. That's the news. I am Richard Alechinwanyebe. Many thanks for watching.